What's going on, guys? Pepperbelly here, bringing you some Halo Anniversary multiplayer, playing on Headlong, some Team Snipers, and I am using my brand new FPS Freek CQCs. Basically, this brand new product that Control Freak came out with to cater to the not small-handed people, but I would definitely say people who did not prefer the lengthy original FPS Freaks add-ons for your controller. So I'm going to do a little review on it because I got to say that I am quite ecstatic about them, and I got to say it does improve a lot of my performance. Now, the reason why I'm playing Team Snipers, well, this is like the best way to test precision, in my opinion, and I am no way in hell an awesome Halo sniper, so don't take me as being all like super professional about my opinions, but I got to say, just judging from the gameplay, you know, I'm doing pretty decent. Now, of course, I'm up against opposition that isn't really good either. I'm not going to be like playing, if I was playing against MLG snipers or some shit like that, I guarantee you I'd get my ass handed to me. So I'm not saying that I'm like, you know, doing a massive improvement in performance here, but I got to say my precision has enhanced quite a bit. And when I tried playing without the CQCs and kept switching back and forth, I found it very difficult to get used to trying to snipe again without them. So I gotta say it does make a difference, and I honestly prefer them way more than the original FPS Freaks. I remember when I made my Black Ops video a while back, when I was playing when I was playing Black Ops back then with the FPS Freaks, the originals. I remember always thinking to myself that, wow, this would be so much better if they were just a little bit smaller, because I always had a problem with the fact that it took me a long time to, not a long time, but just a very uncomfortable sensation of, you know, trying to move my right thumb to the start button or the guide button or pressing any of the buttons, because it, you know, it's kind of like there's a delay, like a longer delay opposed to just sliding your thumb off real quick and hitting the button. I notice it tends to take a little bit longer. It's a little bit more restrictive in your movement from, you know, switching your hands over your gamepad. That's the only way I can really describe it. So the CQCs really make a huge difference in the fact that it's a little bit smaller. It still gives you the precision, not nearly as much as the original FPS Freaks, but it does give you a little bit more comfort in the fact that you are getting some more precision, more rotation out of your analog stick, but you still have the small non-restrictive ability of using your controllers, in my opinion. I know a lot of people who use the original FPS Freaks really don't give a shit, to be honest. They don't really care that the fact that you know, their FPS Freaks are long. A lot of them get really used to it. It's no problem whatsoever. For me, however, no matter how much I tried playing, I usually don't like to keep them on forever. Only when I'm going competitive, I'll kind of throw them on, but I'm playing very casual, I don't like to have them on, which in my case, for people like me, basically it's that when you switch back to your normal controller, it's such a huge difference, right? It's like, holy shit, you know, like, now I got like no rotation. The sticks feel really stiff. It feels really awkward now, and it takes a while. You know, it's just a huge switch when you're going back and forth. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why don't you just leave them on? Well, you know, some people, like I said, going casual, I kind of just like to have it, you know, a normal controller. You know, if I'm playing like an RPG or something, or just, you know, an arcade game, there's really no need for that extra precision. But when I'm playing something like this, where I'm playing snipers, I want to go competitive, you know, play more seriously, then, you know, there's a difference there. So basically, another opinion I have on this matter is that I know a lot of guys they were always talking about, and I love how Control Freak actually listened to the customers, their reviews, what they were saying, what they wanted, and basically they just took what they were saying. I know a lot of guys like to throw, me especially, I like to only have the FPS Freak on one analog stick, and that's the one I use for aiming, so the right analog stick. Now, a lot of people only put it on the right. Some people like to have both of them on, but I find that just makes everything all clunky and weird. So, I mean, you don't need precision in your movement, really. I mean, the incremental movement system within if you play a PC game, there's only one speed, right? You press WASD, there is no walking, there's no running, there's no, like, you can move the stick forward slightly and you kind of creep forward. There is none of that on PC. So, you know, why would you need precision on your movement? I don't really know. So that's why a lot of people don't put FPS Freaks on their left analog stick. But however, since the FPS Freaks, the original ones, are so high up compared to the original analog stick that's stock with the 360 controller or PS3 controller, whichever console you're playing on, essentially there's a huge difference, a huge feel, like you know, a huge comfort feel when you're you know, using just a stock left analog stick and then putting an FPS Freek on your right analog stick. So I know a lot of people are saying how they wish they can just have, there was a product that was just a little bit bigger for the left analog stick, so that way it kind of balances nicely, the feel's kind of good, you know, so there's that comfort, that sense of control that you have when you're playing with the stick. Now, in my opinion, I prefer putting just the CQC on the right analog stick and leaving the left one as normal, which is the same technically it's the same as having the original on the right and the CQC on the left. The ratio would still be the same, just the rotation within the analog stick would be slightly different. But in my opinion, I prefer that. I really like the CQCs, just again, for being able to, you know, not have restrictive movement. Just the fact that it doesn't feel so I don't know, it just feels, you know, huge. It feels not as, you know, and it's not that I have small hands, I prefer having a smaller analog stick, but still with that benefit. And I always remember just wishing that, you know, they would make something like that. Like, I always remember just thinking, you know, adding just a tiny analog stick, just like the thumb groove, just one on top of the other would make it perfect, and they ended up releasing that exact product, so I ordered it right away, got my hands on it, started playing with it, and I gotta tell you right now, at first, I was terrible. There was a huge difference. Now, playing with the CQC, it actually, at first, for me, it took a while of getting used to, but it was weird because the FPS Freeks, the uncomfort I felt, sort of gave me this advantage in precision. It was really hard to explain. Now, it felt uncomfortable to use, but at the same time, I was getting ridiculous precision out of it, like that I was sniping guys in ridiculous fashions with the original FPS Freeks. The CQCs, when I got my hands on them, since they're not as high, the rotation kind of feels a little bit like sharper / clunky. So at first it was more like stiffer movements, not as fluid and soft and fluid and soft. There you go, best way to describe it. So, you know, it felt more like I was kind of playing a Twitch shooter, but on a console, and I wasn't really aiming properly, and auto aim wasn't helping whatsoever. It kind of felt like that. So, I don't know, it took a while getting used to, but after a while, I got the hang of it, and the CQCs, once you adapt to them, they're wonderful to use. I mean, the gameplay speaks for itself here. Now, you know, like I said earlier, I'm not playing against MLG players, I'm not playing against anyone who's pro. These guys aren't necessarily the best, you know, snipers in the world, but I definitely am. You know, you can definitely tell there's an improvement. I'm not the best sniper in Halo. I mean, this is the first match I jumped into Halo in a long time, to be honest. So, I mean, I was playing, like, I've been playing a lot of PC games recently. As you can see, I released my Graw video. I've been playing some Black Label Retribution, and I decided when I got my FPS CQCs to jump into Halo Anniversary and just try that out. And this was, like, my third match, I believe, and, I mean, you know, when you go from a PC to a console, and you're playing a lot of PC games, and you go to console, you're not really used to it, I mean, you can still see the performance I'm still being able to dish out on minimal, you know, hours put into a game. I mean, if you played like Gears of War 3 or something, right, and then all of a sudden you go back to playing like Battlefield, you know, Battlefield 3 or Modern Warfare 3 or, you know, any other game, you know, when you get really used to a specific game and you switch back to another one, it feels very, very different. Like, one I can give a perfect example for is Blacklight Tango Down, back when I used to play that a lot. The look sensitivity in that game was the most unique I've ever experienced in any game. Kind of gave me an advantage, actually, to be honest. It did give me an advantage because for those who didn't know how to use it properly, now I know it sounds kind of weird, but there's this very good way, smooth turns and interactions you can do with, you know, looking around that can help you dominate your opponents when they're trying to shoot, but they're shooting all over the place, right? So, there, you know, it did help in that aspect. What I'm saying, basically, the bottom line is the fact that, you know, when you're switching back between games you're not used to, you know, there's a huge impact on your performance in the game until you get back into the groove of things, right? So basically, what I'm saying is that I haven't played this game in a long time. I wasn't, you know, used to playing it. This is the first time I got into it, and you can still see how decent I'm doing, you know, against somewhat newbies, not necessarily pros. So I'm saying, with practice, with a lot of effort, with a lot of time, you can probably be really fucking good with the FPS Freeks, with the FPS Freek CQCs, pretty much with any of the line of products they release, because they do work. I can definitely say it. They enhance your gaming ability well enough. Like I said in my Black Ops video, though, if you suck at the game, it's not going to make you a god all of a sudden. You still have to be good at the gun, or good at the gun. What the fuck am I saying? Good at the game. It just enhances what you can already do. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. So, you know, if you guys want to get this product, it's $10, totally worth it. It took a long time to get to my house, but when I got it, I was ecstatic, played with it, really enjoyed it. So, definitely give them a shot if you, you know, you never had FPS Freaks. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos. Please remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Take care.